To understand that night, you need to understand how Vantage started. Marcus Bell and I worked together at Grayfield Solutions. Every Thursday, we had lunch together, and we complained. Products built by committee, roadmaps driven by whoever yelled the loudest, customer feedback that went into spreadsheets and died there. One Thursday, Marcus pushed a napkin across the table. 3 boxes, a few arrows, an idea for a different kind of project infrastructure, one that matched how enterprise teams actually worked. I stared at the napkin for 40 seconds. Then I said, "We're going to need a third person." We brought in a developer named Joel Park. For 6 months, we built a prototype at night. Bad takeout, too much coffee, arguments that felt enormous then and ridiculous now. My daughter Sophie was 4. There's a photo from that year. She's sitting on the floor of my home office, coloring while I'm on a call behind her. She drew a picture of me. In it, I'm sitting at a desk with a computer. She gave the computer a big smile. She gave me a smaller one. I kept that drawing on my desk for 9 years. So when I say Vantage wasn't just a job, I mean that literally. Ryan Porter joined Vantage in January of 2023. I interviewed him. I recommended him. I signed his offer letter. Let me say that again. I hired the man who replaced me. At the time, it made perfect sense. The product team had grown from 8 people to 31. I needed someone to manage operations. Ryan seemed perfect, organized, polished, excellent at managing upward. In the final interview, he told me something I remember clearly. "I've always done my best work when I have a strong visionary above me. I'm an executor. I need someone like you to tell me where north is." At the time, I heard humility. Now I hear something very different. The first signal came in September. I was scheduled to present the Q4 product strategy to the board. 2 days before the meeting, Steven called. He suggested Ryan present alongside me to show the board the product team has depth. It sounded reasonable, but something about it felt strange, like a door in your house you were certain you'd closed, but now it's slightly open. The second signal came in October. I shared a confidential product expansion idea with Ryan. 3 weeks later, Steven referenced the idea in an executive meeting, attributing it to Ryan. Ryan apologized afterward. He said he'd correct it. He never did. I told myself it was a misunderstanding. That calculation, is this worth the relationship cost, is how capable people get quietly outmaneuvered. Which brings us back to Tuesday, 9:47 p.m. The email. It was from Diane Walsh to Stephen Holt. Subject: Leadership Transition, Timeline Confirmation. The message was simple. The board had approved a transition plan. Ryan Porter would assume the CPO role. The announcement would be made in 6 weeks. Stephen was asked to handle the Claire conversation. I read the email again and again, waiting for the meaning to change. It didn't. I thought about Sophie, about the drawing, about the 140 hours I'd spent training Ryan. Then I did something I should have done months earlier. I created a new folder, and I started documenting everything. About an hour later, I did break. Just once, briefly, privately. I walked down the hallway toward the employee break room, the large one overlooking the parking lot. During the day, it was loud. Coffee machines running, conversations overlapping, microwaves humming. But at 10:40 p.m., it was completely empty. Fluorescent lights, clean counters, chairs tucked neatly under tables. I sat down and stared at the reflection of the lights on the table surface. Then I thought about Sophie, 4 years old, drawing in my office. The computer with the big smile, and me with the smaller one. 9 years of my life were inside those walls. Not as a sacrifice, I chose it, but when you pour that much of yourself into something and discover people have been quietly planning the moment you disappear from it, it lands somewhere deeper than professional. I sat there 11 minutes. I cried for 4. Then I stood up, washed my face in the small sink beside the coffee machine, straightened my jacket, and went back to my desk. Because there was still work to do. Over the next 2 weeks, nothing changed externally. Meetings, roadmaps, conversations, normal. But at night, I built something else. Documentation, emails, frameworks, version histories. I assembled a timeline of everything. I contacted 2 major enterprise clients quietly. Both confirmed in writing that their partnership with Vantage was directly tied to my leadership. I printed those emails, mailed copies to my home address. Marcus knew something was happening. He didn't ask questions. He just started CCing me on everything. Architecture decisions, engineering notes, emails. Small, quiet acts of protection. 3 weeks later, we had a major client meeting with Hartwell Group, one of our largest accounts. 2 days before the meeting, I scheduled a one-on-one with Stephen. Glass conference room, 2 p.m. He sat down with coffee, smiled. "Claire, what's on your mind?" I placed the printed email on the table. He read it. The smile faded slowly. I spoke for 11 minutes. Timeline, documentation, client letters, contract clauses. Then I said, "I'm not asking you to abandon the transition. I'm telling you the conditions under which it will happen." I slid a document across the table. Negotiated exit, equity acceleration, 2-year consulting role, advisory board seat, permanent co-founder recognition, and one more condition. I would lead the Hartwell meeting. Stephen looked at the document for a long time. Then he looked at me. For the first time, I saw something that wasn't corporate politeness. It was respect. Reluctant. Late, but real. "I'll speak with Diane," he said. "I'll need an answer by Thursday," I replied. Then I walked out. My hands were completely steady. Thursday, 4:47 p.m. Stephen called. He accepted every term. The Hartwell meeting happened. We closed the renewal. 4 weeks later, the company announced my transition. Ryan became CPO. I became strategic advisor. The press release called me a visionary co-founder. Ryan said in the statement, "Claire is the person who taught me how to see product clearly." I read that standing in my kitchen, coffee warm in my hand, Sophie, 14 now, doing homework outside. 9 years. It cost what it cost, but I knew exactly who I was in that story. People ask if I'm angry. Here's the honest answer. Part of what happened to me, I allowed to happen. Not because I deserved it, but because I trusted without verifying. I absorbed small wrongs. I focused on doing the work instead of protecting the work. If someone asks you to transfer your institutional knowledge without documentation, without structural protection, stop. Ask questions. And if someone tells you, keep your files, listen the first time. My daughter asked me later, "Did you win?" I told her the truth. I think I finally understood how the game is really played. Whether that's winning, I'll let you decide.